The governor is the leader of the party. Where is the state chairman of the political party? Those days, when the late Chief Akinloye, who was the chairman of NPN, National Party of Nigeria, if they are having a party affair, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who was President Shehu Shagari, will see it, while the chairman of the party will preside. So you want to take a decision about the party, it is the party, it's a party affair. When it comes to governance, it is the president that is in charge. So we need to have that demarcation, the party and the government. But we've been able to, we succeeded in modeling the two together. The governor is the leader of the party in the states, while the president is the leader of the party at the national. It's not supposed to be.
And people barely even know the chairman at both the federal level and even state. And
you see, these things just have to evolve. And that is why the electoral law needs to be constant. It should be dynamic. There should be corrections to be made. And in order for us to get good leadership also, when you look at the electoral law, I think it has to be amended. If you are not a member for certain years, that you are a member of that political party, you cannot be nominated or vie for any position. I think it has to be. If not, we'll be seeing the way this issue of cross-carpeting, moving in short, it will curb political prostitution. Okay, you go for a primary, and then because you lost out, then you move to another party and you are contesting. Doesn't really, it has to be looked into. You don't just come and they just because you have some godfather that will be able to you now you monetize everything. You take care of the delegates. That's another issue entirely. We saw the way the delegates became teen gods. So all of these are things that we need to look into as democracy is evolving in the country.
That's true. Like, first talking about the fact that people need to look beyond the personal ideologies of the individual manifesto. They are coming from a political party. Sure. And most times, like, candidates end up dancing to the tune of their political parties. I've heard instances where some Nigerians will tell you that, oh, this candidate is actually good, but the party that is coming from is a problem to him. Why? They are looking at the antecedent, the pedigree, sure, promises that the same parties have made, but they've been unable to achieve it. And a human rights activist recently talked about the fact that you see politicians like without integrity, people running from one political party to the other. Today you see the person rendering insults about the other party.
And tomorrow is hobnobbing with them.
So is it about the people or about personal interest? Like, maybe you have something to say concerning that.
You see, it's the political class is not just doing the right thing, and they are messing the populace, the Nigerian populace. It's a mess up, so to say. In a situation where you are in party A today, because of one thing or the other, you cannot persevere, you cannot endure, you are not in tune with the philosophy of the party. From instance, from the onset, so to say, your ideology does not conform with the political views of that party, but because of personal interest, just to grab power at all cost, you are there. Then a little thing occur, then the next thing is to jump ship. Then you go to the other party, and when you are there too, you are not comfortable, or maybe some things do happen, then because there's supposed to be an internal party mechanism. If anybody erred, you can discipline the person, and you should be humble enough to take correction. But because of money bags, they've been able to hijack the political party. So it is what they want that they will tell you. Yeah? So if a party, for instance, agreed that we are zoning social position to a certain area of the country, And at the end of the day, you come up with another thing that is happening, and some people try to raise some highbrows, and you are seen as a dissident. You are seen as not conforming with the party principle. You are seen as an anti-party person that is anti-party, and they want to suspend you. You discover that where is the whole discipline, where is the decorum in a political party, which you yourself, you agree that this is what you will do. And you now renege on that agreement. And someone is trying to correct you, and the person is seen as a dissident. It's something that is, doesn't conform with the spirit of democracy.
And you know, it is said that where there's no law, like chaos is inevitable.
There can be, yes. Yeah.
And all of that. So sometimes you see people will make laws and the same people will go against it. You talk about the issue of the zoning, and that's what we're seeing in PDP, like the case of the 5 G governors and G5. Then, yes, G5 governors. And because of this, the party constitution and some people going against it, I think that's one of the reasons why they've been having that issue. But let's move from that. There have been comments ahead of the 2020 election. Some Nigerians have expressed worry and concern over the age of some of the presidential candidates, as well as some of the governorship hopefuls. Some of them are of the opinion that these people are old, and it's more like we've been recycling same set of people. These people have been this, they've been that, and they are still there. Some say, well, we're in primary school, we're told that we are leaders of tomorrow. They don't know when they will become the leaders because they keep saying same people. So should the concern be about age, or it should be about the person's vision, interest of Nigerians as a whole? Because some people will tell you that Yar'Adua was president in his 50s, like 57, he died at 59. And like for so many, they will say he's a young person, of course. And today we are seeing Nigerians expressing concerns about age. And for some, they say that seeing this caliber of people that the parties are actually presenting or giving them the flag bearers and all of that, they are losing hope and confidence in the whole process. So do you think age should be something of concern, or?
Well, age is just about numbers. Having said that, there's the need for a collaboration. It's a pity that the set of leaders now, yesterday, and when I mean yesterday, not just the past yesterday, they've been around for long, and they got to those positions 15 years ago, when they were in their prime, and they're still around. I'll give you instances. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was the former military head of state. When he got there, he should be in his 30s or early 40s. Ditto the president. Lots and lots of them, they were in their, especially the military governors, they were in their 30s when they got some of those things. Well, the excuse we can give was that we are coming from the colonial era. After independence, these are the people that struggled and things like that. But we should not forget the role that the military played in our political life. That period of military intervention caused a lot of accumulated human capacity that were not fully dispensed. So after the military era, made it that it seems to be a queue after we come back to civilian rule. Then the interruption of the Second Republic and the Third Republic. So all of these put together, those that were saying that the leaders of tomorrow are still the followers of today. Look at one of the ministers then, Audu Ogbe, as at that time. So what are you going to talk now? What are you going to do now? look at your children that you gave birth to then. They are now men, and they are not in maybe positions or elective positions, so to say. That is not saying that there are no youth. What I'm saying in essence is this. There should be a concerted effort to see that youths are given adequate opportunity to contribute to national development, to political issues, deliberately. It has to be deliberate. How do you do it? If you're saying that the president should be so age, then you can say the vice president should be younger. The governor, the deputy governor, the speaker. You see, these are things that does not really have to be a constitutional matter, but it's something like an unwritten constitution that we need to agree on mutually within the political party, that we'll be able to see that not too young to run, not too old to sit, you know. Because the experience of the old with the dynamism of the young will make you to move forward.
That's true.
So we need to see how to blend the two. However, the youth have been taken for granted for too long.
That's true.
And I think it's the youth that need to be blamed. Why can't you, when you look at that class, there seems to be more. So why can't you take advantage of that, see how you can mobilize yourself, and come up with something that is innovative, creative, and enticing, and be serious. In any position that you are in, you have the advantage, then justify that position. Not that you join the old wagon. If not, at the end of the day, say, what's the difference? Yeah. So the onus is on the youth that have the opportunity. They should be able to prove themselves. If as a youth you are under 40, you become a speaker at 30. And what were you able to do with that speakership position? It is the man that make a position to be relevant. It's not the position that make the man.
That's true.
Because the position is there. You are the one that will make that office to be relevant. So if you are able to prove it, before you know it, they will look for like minds like that. Let's put it there. But if you are given an opportunity, you are not doing anything different to the old cargoes, so what's the difference? And that's why a lot of people are talking about some of the young youth that are in government or in governance that have not been able to, really make any difference.
Because in some states, we've seen that there are some governors that are actually young, and some people have of the opinion that, like you said, even if they are given the opportunity, will they be able to even manage it? But like we always maintain, political participation is key. Sure. We've seen a lot of young people complain, grumble, and all of that. Some are allowed themselves to be used as talks. Well, these politicians' children are outside the country. You would never even see them on rally ground, campaign grounds, and all of that. But they always end up using the young people as talks.
As pawns.
Yeah, and I think it is important that every young person out there start thinking of political participation. If you want to take over and make the change that you desire, you have to start it by participating, from registering to getting your voter's card and even going out to vote, not just anybody, but voting the right person. I think it is key, and if we do that, we are going to change the narrative that I've always complained about. And quickly, I want us to talk about the forthcoming election, because activities leading to the election is actually at the top gear, and politicians, political party have been strategizing. Everybody is tussling for the position, whatever position that they are vying for. Political parties want to be the party of the day and all of that. So what qualities are Nigerians looking to see in their ideal candidates, or what qualities do you think Nigerians should look out for as these people are strategizing, campaigning, going about different states, local government to canvass for votes? What qualities do you think Nigerians should look out for?
At this point, it might be an exercise in futility, the quality we'll be looking for. Why do I say so? The various political parties have had their primaries. And they've come out with their various candidates,
True.
Either by blackmailing, paying their way in, and all of those. So right now, we are left with the availables.
Yes.
We are left with the availables. Having said that, I would have loved a country where merit would have been the deciding factor. I would have loved the emergence of a winner whereby it is not going to be on religion, it is not going to be on ethnic, but rather it will be on performance. This will have evolved through the various political parties. The various political parties will have been able to go through all of this, and there wouldn't have been emergence of the highest bidder. With the exception of the Labour Party, all other candidates of the two major political parties, they bought their way in. For goodness sake, you are buying a nomination form for 100 billion naira. It's ridiculous.
True.
And we all saw what played out in the PDP primaries too. So, but all of these, we still have an opportunity and take a look, put all the contestants, there are more than 3, we need political education, no matter how short. We still have about a fortnight. Nigerians need political education. Let us divorce our minds from religious sentiments, ethnic sentiments, and take a look at the person per se. How has he been? What are his or her antecedents? When he was so person, what did he do in so position? What did he or she, what did he do? Because the decision of today will determine our position tomorrow.
True.
Our decision of yesterday is what makes us to be where we are today. So we have to be careful in making those decisions. And that's why I said it might not be too late, but it's a bit late because the contestants are there already. We are now weighing them on the surface of who they are. A lot of things need to be done. The mental ability, I remember some times ago, an NMA president, that's the Nigerian Medical Association, even said that whoever is going to be a leader in Nigeria, no matter the position, should be subjected to mental tests. We need day. You don't just come up because you have money, you can brag about and do certain things. We need to engage them. We are in a digital age, in a dynamic world. Our leaders need to be in touch. And I think in the course of the discussion, we'll get there. Sure. It is not about going to school alone, because there are lots of decisions, there are lots of policies that have been, taken by the policymakers. They are not in tune with their reality on ground.
That's true.
So we need leaders that will be in touch with the reality of things that are on ground, not leaders that are limited to their comfort zones alone.
That's true. Like visionary leaders,
Sure.
leaders with ideas, leaders that are inspirational.
Accommodating, listening leaders. And people that will, they should be accommodating, they should be creative, innovative, dynamic. I mean, you turn nothing to something.
That's true.
We need to see them. And it is from their past. We know them. So Nigerians should be able to be very, very objective and see that this time around, we want our country to move forward.
That's true. Well, this is not time for you to go for campaigns, jumping, dancing, without taking notes or hearing some of these aspirants speak. And it is important that whoever you're deciding to vote, ensure that it should be somebody that will inspire this nation to move ahead. Nigeria, of course, is a great country, and together we can definitely make it so when we elect the right people, leaders who are purposeful. Well, before we talk about the next, which is the electoral amendment act, we'll be going on a quick break. Do know that as soon as we come back from the break, our phone lines will be open for you to call and then make your input. Stay with us.
ECWA TV Africa keeps you lifted 24/7. Fixes your day and makes it fulfilled with messages of hope and salvation.
Sin and the devil, they always work hand in hand together.
Christ too and the ministry of the Lord also will be promoted.
This aspect of David's experience we read in our passage of consideration brings this situation very near to ours.
He is majestic in holiness. Praise the Lord.
Groundbreaking shows for every life situation.
Parents don't tell lies because that's always a problem.
But in the north, we have abandoned education.
If you ask me to do anything for Nigeria, please equip me.
It feels great being on never-ending platform.
Heaven gifted songs to lift your spirit up, pull you out of worry, fear, sadness, and even depression. Keep watching ECWA TV Africa. Follow us on all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification button to keep up with our activities.
Welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, you're on to National Talk on ECWA Television International, and we have been discussing the tussle for leadership ahead of the 2023 general election alongside Yemi Kosoko. Thank you for your analysis so far, and to our viewers out there, our phone lines are now open for you to call in and make your contributions on the issues we have been discussing. Quickly, there have been talks about the Electoral Amendment Act, and for some people, they have expressed optimism with this new act that was signed in by the president, considering the fact that he has been coming out to promise Nigerians it's going to be free, fair, and credible, and nobody's going to manipulate the beavers and all of that. Some people are of the opinion is the same people, and then like anything can happen, the system can also be manipulated. And I just want to quickly ask you, with this amendment bill that over time people have been clamoring for, and then with the introduction of the beavers, electronic voting, do you see light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes, it's a deviation from the past. It's a good one. And if anything contrary will happen, we are the one that will scuttle it. And we have started scuttling it already. With the amended Electoral Act, you know, there are, let me start from the direct, indirect primaries that were agreed on. We all saw the way the delegates were, you know, either selected or elected or appointed. Some of those things breached the amended electoral law. That's why I said we are the one that was scuttle it. Having said that, the electronic transmission of results is also an innovation, which of course was practicalized in Ekiti, in Osun. Back to what I said, we are the one that will also scuttle it. See what happened in Osun. The beavers was used, and at the end of the day, they are telling us that there was overvoting. How did they come about the overvoting when the beavers captured some of those things? Questions.
Sorry to cut you. We have a caller from Plateau State. Good evening, Isaac. Welcome to National Talk. Well, we lost that. Do well to call us back. You can go on it.
So, how do you have the beavers at the end of the day? You are telling us about overvoting. That's why I said we are the one that was scuttling. Then let's go to the judiciary. The Amendment Act, Section 35, subsection 4, that's, Section 84, subsection 5, talking about the conduct of the primaries. You see the Senate President in Yobe North, he opted for the presidency, so he didn't take part in the senatorial primaries, which was won by Masini. And INEC recognized the other man, but the party forwarded the name of the Senate President. They went to court, but the Supreme Court, in its own majority decision, affirmed that the Senate president. But the minority report came up and said there was a violation of Section 84, subsection 5, which stipulates that a primary that is being held must have so persons in attendance. He didn't attend that, and the party did not cancel that particular primaries, but decided to organize another one. And you cannot eat your cake and have it, but in Nigeria, you eat your cake and you have it. That is what is happening. The same thing happened to Senator Akpabio. So that's why I said we are the one that was caught to ceremonies. So the laws are there. How we are able to manage and interpret and implement, it's in our hands.
All right, we have Simon from Delta State. Good evening, Simon. Welcome to National Talk. Please make your contribution. Well, you do well to call us back. I think we're having some network issues. Please go on.
So, in all of this, if we are genuinely adhering to the laws, to the amended laws, it's going to be for the good of us. Because at the end of the day, then it is then that democracy will be justified. Because the guides are there. We don't need to circumvent it for any reason whatsoever. So you can just imagine the young man that won the primaries. At the end of the day, where is the issue of the rights we're talking about? And it's sad.
It's really sad.
Some of the other things that we're doing that are not in conform with it. And I think why we are doing this and we are not moving forward is because of lack of justice. Sometimes ago, in the last election, some people were called...
Simon is calling us back. Let's hear from Simon. Sorry to cut you. Good evening, Simon. Welcome to National Talk. Please make your contribution. I can hear you. Make your contribution.
I can't hear you.
Make your contribution.
Okay. I want to ask about this Nigerian money.
Okay.
About this Nigerian money and old money. We don't know what to do because we have cash as old money. And the new money, we could never see the new money. 2 pieces.
Okay. Thank you, Simon. He's expressing his thoughts about the new Naira policy, and that's the next point we're going to be talking about, because the saga about new Naira is just everywhere and people right now are confused. Some will tell you that CBN have said 10th is the deadline. The Supreme Court have come out to say that there's an interim injunction by the Supreme Court saying that till 15 February, and that's his expression of concern. What do we do?
Well, in response to that, it's straightforward. The Attorney General of the Republic, Malami, has said that the federal government will adhere to the order of the Supreme Court.
Okay, Simon is back again. Please continue.
Hello?
Hello, Simon, we can hear you. Make your contribution.
Hello?
Go ahead.
If you don't hear me, this new money, how are we going to see the new money and leave the old one? Because we never see the new money. We are only seeing the old one.
Okay.
And we have money, we can't buy anything.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
So, you see, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice has said that the federal government will comply with the order of the Supreme Court. That is, and the Supreme Court has not decided on the case yet, but there is an order that the 10th, which is today, should not be observed until on the 15th, when that order will cease to exist. So that is the situation. And the federal government has said that they will, you know, in the spirit of the rule of law, they are adhering to that order. So that's that.
So going by what the federal government is saying, you can still use your old notes until the hearing is
Friday calling from Okwanga.
Okay, Friday, good evening and welcome to National Talk. Please make your contribution. Go ahead.
I wanted to contribute on the issue of these, what we are passing in this country.
Okay.
Despite the fact there is a forthcoming general election, which is by the corner, I think people need to be very wise and vote wisely, because the situation we are now is seriously, we need a change. We need a change seriously, because the challenge is not just funny at all. That is my contribution.
Thank you so much, Friday from Akwanga. He said during the election, as we look forward to the election, people should vote wisely, because the situation we are facing right now is seriously difficult. So, well, as you just respond to this question, I would like you also to just contribute on this new NAIRA policy. What's your take? I believe you've gone around, you've seen the situation, and...
You see, the new policy has brought hardship to the populace. There's no doubt about it. We don't need to mince words about it. But for the benefit of an insight to the genesis of this.
This is Godson calling from Niger State.
Okay, we have a caller from Niger State. Sorry to cut you. Good evening. Welcome to National Talk. Please make your contribution. You have 30 seconds.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My contribution is about our leadership. And they should be tested before they will be given the right to even contest for any post. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much.
He's talking about tests, which of course we mentioned. Yes. Honestly, he's making a point.
Very true.
They should be subjected to mental, physical, and other tests. Honestly.
Because these are people that at the end of the day will be making policies, and then you want to, like when I was looking at this, the whole controversy surrounding this new NAIRA policy, the hardship on Nigerians, when you go to some of these ATM, you see queues.
That's what we want to talk about. Yes, I agree that it's a constitutional thing, because the design has been...
Sorry, before you just answer that, sorry to cut, we have another caller again. Please tell us your name and go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Gypsy Sugar calling from Akodi.
Okay.
My contribution is about the forthcoming general election, especially the presidential election. The advice I have for Nigerians is that we have suffered enough. So Nigerians should not lose patience. Nigerians should not lose hope, because in as much as we have those flag bearers coming to a faulty procedure for them to become flag bearers of those political parties, at least in 3 or 4 options, you might have a better candidate. So let's not just do this election by collecting money, peanuts, from political parties or the aspirants. We know the right candidate. We know the better candidate to go for. Let's go out and vote to save Nigeria from the mess we have found ourselves. I don't want to go into details of the judicial and other arms of government that have frustrated the effort of even few leaders who want to take the right thing, just like the Naira currency swap. We Nigerians are suffering because we caused it. The CBN actually went money to make awareness, to let Nigerians know the reasons why this policy has been embarked on, and it's for the good of a common person. But the commercial banks are the ones that have used this thing to punish Nigerians. So my advice also in this respect is that the CBN should make more effort, should fortify their effort to monitor those commercial banks, so that this the little money they are giving to those commercial banks will go to the right channel, not for few individuals to come and take this money from there and forward it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling all the way from Makurdi. You had him.
You see, yes, I did. But you see, I was getting there, and I'm glad you mentioned it. The CBN came up with a policy that is about to fight counterfeiting. You know, like I said, over 20 years that those things have been done. 1984, that it was done. Talk about kidnapping, corruption, money laundering, and things like that. But there are lapses in terms of implementation.
Okay, let's speak. I think this will be our last caller for today. Please, good evening. Welcome to National Talk. Well, we lost that call. Go ahead, please.
You see, when you go through it, there are some lapses, probably unforeseen from the CBN. I wouldn't agree that the commercial banks are the problem. For the sake of clarity, because we need to enlighten ourselves on certain things. The way the thing is being done, before I go to the nitty-gritty of some of these things, you'll agree with me that the population of those in rural areas is higher than those in urban centers. The issue of the cashless society is difficult in Nigeria with the reality on ground. Now, for an effective cashless system, you need, number one, power supply. Adequate power supply. Secondly, you need effective network of services from the service providers. Number three, you need adequate personnel in all the banks and financial institutions. Do we have all these three? No. It will be difficult to have a cashless society, digitalized economy without an effective power supply. With the epileptic power supply, it's difficult. You see, even the service providers, they have standby generating sets to use to power so that we'll be able to get network services. You discover that you want to send money, you want to transfer. If there is no power supply, what do? They talk about this and all of this. Having said that, when this policy was done, the last caller talked about the issue of they notify us. That was in October.
Like barely 3 months.
In October, they notified that they will do it.
26th, precisely.
Now, it is on record that the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company Limited can only have the capacity to print about 200 billion naira by the end of January 2023. That is the capacity. And what the money in circulation is 2.73 trillion naira. Far, far less to that. Now, that is why we are seeing what we are seeing.
That was before the policy.
No, I'm talking about the money that that can be printed by the Nigerian minting press is 200 billion. And the money in circulation to be retrieved is about 2.73 trillion. So when you look at that, you are collecting people's money, they cannot get their money back. Now, when all of these things started, then we come up with the issue of vote buying. You see, even in other economy, we have seen it, the old and the new will be going on side by side. Whenever you want to withdraw, is the new that you'll be getting. When you are depositing the old. You are not to be giving the old back. The CBN that we are talking about, until last week, the CBN gave an instruction to the commercial banks not to dispense the new notes over the counter, only through the ATM. When you talk about that, the percentage of those that are using ATM, when you look at the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian population, is less than 30%. Go to the market today. There is no purchasing power. People are there frustrated, looking for the money, their hard-earned money. The CBN is also telling us that the maximum you can withdraw is 20,000 naira. For goodness sake, if I want to be prodigious with my money, so be it. When we are talking about policies, you don't limit the decision and experience to some comfort zones. You need to consult. If it was a decision that did not have adverse effect on the populace, the Council of State met today talking about this decision. If it is a right decision that doesn't have the bearing on it, will it be? No. Another question is this: why coming at this time? If President Muhammadu Buhari is to go for second term, will he have come up with this policy? No. Let us have policies that have human face. You're telling us that we want to have a cashless society, we want to have the economy to grow, whereas it has affected the economy right now. The purchasing power is low. People doesn't have access. See, our economy is cash, and we don't need to deceive ourselves. The people that are running the economy in the grassroots, it's not about banking. And with what is happening now, the federal government, through the CBN, they have a lot of things to do to really encourage and convince Nigerians that the banking system is for the benefit of Nigerians. You ask people to bring in their money, for them to collect cash become an issue. There are some banks that are releasing as little as 3,000 naira for someone that has a salary, wants to go and withdraw. You are giving the person 3,000 naira. People have been asking, what are you going to do with 20,000 naira in a day? If you take a look at certain things that you want to buy, you want to purchase, you go to the it is not everybody that have the opportunity of going to supermarket to use the cards. And for those that even are using the cards, how effective is the network, like I said? Nowadays, everything is jam-packed. We were just discussing, I just got an alert of a transaction that I had over a week. The other one is hanging because of time constraint to go to the bank and make, yes, there are some since December last year. Yes, these are things that are, it should be a gradual thing. We have to move gradually. You have to encourage people to do it. We don't need to deceive ourselves that we can get there in a day. It is not possible. It's not feasible. Go to those markets, Jingri market, go to other markets in other states. You see, and that is why the thing is hitting hard a little bit in some of these northern states. They don't have banks in some local government areas. So you bring in your money, then you now go over there, then the next thing is you can only collect 20,000 naira. While we are doing, that is why POS agents and the banks are taking advantage of this for unreasonable commissions. Mind you, you want to, when you go to the POS, you remove your money. If it is not your bank, it's about the third or fourth transaction, there is a special amount of money that will be deducted. There will be service charge. There are other charges that you pay. Everything is about taxation, taxation, taxation. Mind you, on every transaction, there is also the 7.5% VAT tax.
That's true.
And you pay all of this. Now, with this situation now, you want to withdraw 10,000 naira, they will tell you to bring 1,000 naira. You want to budget on 10,000, you have to budget on 9,000. It's affecting people. How much are they earning? Coupled with the scarcity of fuel, they're selling a liter 350 now. And the electricity providers have Nicodemously increased the tariff. Nobody is aware, you know. We just discovered that you buy the points and it's gone. Look at all of this. And we are bringing this in. in the year that we are having an election, well, the excuse have been that they want to they want to deal with the vote buyers. Who says they cannot do it through electronically?
In fact, campaigns have been going on, and we kept seeing people at how are they doing that? Campaigns are not done without money.
We need policy that will have human face. There is the need for our policy makers to take time. Let them leave their comfort zones. Go to the rural area. To have a feel. Is it good for people to be sleeping in not only in fuel stations but at ATM points?
That's terrible, you know. Well said. Our time is actually fast spent. I will need to go. Look forward to having you some other time to continue the discussions, maybe on other topics.
Thank you very much. I'll be glad to be here. But I want to assure Nigerians that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And no matter the situation, we need to persevere. But our policy makers and leaders should try as much as possible to be in touch with the people before they come up with any policy.
That's true. Empathy for people should be the focus of every governance. And remember that the primary responsibility of every government is the protection of life and property. The focus should be the people and not just individual interests. That's the much we can take on National Talk tonight. Until we come your way next week. Until then, have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.